I'm Warren Davis, and you're watching the Evercade Effect.
Evercade Effect.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Evercade Effect. This is Ed, and today I'm doing my follow-up video to the Computer Heroes Collection 1. That's part of the Computer Collection series on the Evercade. This isn't going to be a full in-depth video where I play all the games for my first impressions. That's going to go ahead and be in the card above. Go ahead and click on that or down below in the description, and you'll see where I go through and I play all the games, get my first impressions, and take my time and whatnot. This is a follow-up video that's 2 weeks later, or actually later than that, because of the new cards. Where now, after I've gotten to spend some time with the collection, I want to give my updated opinions, see what's changed, see what's the same, and it's definitely been over 2 weeks. So to kind of give you a quick timeline, I was playing this, up until I got the Super Pocket and the Dukes, and if you don't see the Super Pocket behind me, that's because I've been leaving it next to the nightstand on my bed, out in the living room. I'm kind of doing some testing and seeing if, how often I just pick up and play it because of the form factor and the, the ease of use, as opposed to something like the Steam Deck that takes some time to boot up and all that good stuff. Anyways, so definitely I still remember this collection, and I quite enjoyed this collection. I just stopped playing it because, the Dukes and we got all the other cards came out. But I did want to do this follow-up video because I know a lot of you out there do fully enjoy this type of content. I enjoy revisiting these collections and whatnot. And if this is the first time seeing this video and you like what you see, please go ahead and subscribe. At the time of recording this, I'm less than 50 subs away from 1,000, and I really want us to get there. It's going to be fantastic. So I had the VS plugged in, and I want to take a look. So again, I won't be thoroughly playing through all the games, but I do want to, some things that may have certain save states or certain points that I want to go ahead and load. And I do like to show you the play time to kind of give you give you an idea of what I've invested in this, and may or why or why not, I haven't played it more. Okay, so let's talk about Attack of the Pesky Robots. We can go in order. So this game, it has a lower play time. You can see I haven't really played it too much, 23 minutes, because I got sucked into the other games we'll talk about here in a moment. So Attack of the Pesky Robots, it's not a bad game, but it's not a fantastic game. And what I mean by that is that the premise is neat. You have to go through, and actually, let me see if I can load one of the save states, and I have an issue with the combat. And let me kind of show you here. I like how you have to go through, you have to, kill the robots, you have to use the buttons to do a search and everything. So I like that concept, but you can see how you move like this, it's really choppy. I don't like that. And for combat, you have to press to move to shoot. It's not like, see, and they shoot at you. So it's really, you can't, look, I can't just press hold on a second. Let me load back here. What I wanted to show you is that I can't just, so to shoot, you can't just press the button like this. You actually have to move and shoot, which is really weird because it puts you in their, it kind of puts you in their line of fire. So this game, and then you have to go through, and then once you, I guess you kill the robots, you have to go through and figure out how to unlock the doors, and I don't know, it's all right. I would say on average, I'd give this game about maybe a C+ if I had to give it a letter rating, and I might start giving letter ratings to things. So yeah, not horrible, not great. I just wish the combat was a little bit better. As you can see, it didn't hold my interest. Graphics and everything is really great, and I do love that that on this collection we're seeing something other than Commodore C64. We're definitely seeing a lot. Oh, and I almost forgot to give my disclaimer, because I think this is very important. Just want to let you know anything that I have to say about the games that are just my personal opinion, and that's just me, Ed, saying how I feel about these games. You're gonna have your own opinions on how you like these games, and that's perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, when you're done watching this video, let's get a conversation going in the comments below. But if I don't like a game, or if I'm not favorable towards a game, and you like that game, what I have to say is not going to diminish or take away from that. If you don't play these games on an Evercade, that's perfectly fine. The important thing is that we all have enjoyment and the way that we play these games. Just want to be clear, these are just my opinions. It's not fact. I don't want to take away from anyone's enjoyment. I just want to share my experiences, and that's what this video is all about. So yeah, Almost forgot to do that. I almost forgot to do that because I was so excited to jump into these games. Okay, so let's move on to Bridge Strike. Now, Bridge Strike, yeah, I have over an hour. I've played it 8 different times. I've loaded 11 different times. So this game, I played quite a bit. Now, I heard someone say, like, for the versions of this on the Switch and whatnot, you have randomly generated levels. That does not exist here. That would be really neat. I think it would add a lot more replayability to this game. But yeah, I mean, you have like your pretty much it's an enhanced version of River Run, for the Atari 2600. Like, who doesn't love that game? So and this almost really feels like a remake. Like, I welcome the enhancements. They still kept it all 2D and all that. And it is a lot of fun. It is quite challenging. The only issue I have with this game is the load times are a killer. It is great that it will save your scores. We don't have to use save states. That's built in. That's working. But you could even see here, like, loading. It says, "We salute you." Like, you almost wish you had like a mini game of Tetris or something to play. And I heard someone say with the Mega that you have to emulate like all the processors and like floppy drives, and so I get that, but if I had to give a little bit of a critique to Blaze, being that this is paid for emulation, I wonder if there's anything they could have done to like really speed this up, because you can see it's like, man, yeah, and then you load in here and you got your fuel things, and I could easily go through it and play this. But yeah, it controls very well. The graphics are beautiful. The music, oh my god, the music in this is just killer. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop out of this so I don't get distracted. So this game, if the loading time was good, this, if they fix that, this would be like an S tier. For me, this game is more, it's more of an A-, but it's still really great. But let me go ahead and hide. Hide full void here. Man, I'm not able to operate my buttons today. So I want to move on. So here is something you almost hear nobody talk about. Citadel Remonstered. You almost hear no one talk about this game. This is, if anything, like the hidden gem within this collection that gets completely overlooked. And I really want to talk about this game next. And you can see I have 3 hours into this game. I put numerous load and play counts on this. And to be honest, this was a game I was almost going to give up on early on. If I'm being perfectly honest. Because when you start off the game to play it, they put it on the hard difficulty, which I don't understand why. In this game, and I'm talking about like it's like Xenocrisis hard, right? Like, all right, I keep bumping. I set my controller on my lap, and I keep bumping it. And I made Xenocrisis hard is it's too difficult to the point where it's not fun. You don't get enough ammo or life. Enemies aren't. I don't know, they're way too. I mean, they are way too aggressive. So, is it like freaky? Why is it? Something's bumping it here. I got demons in the machine. I guess I'm actually going to have to hold it here. So what you have to do is you have to put the difficulty on easy. Once you put the difficulty on easy, then it feels more like a moderate or normal difficulty, and the game is a lot more enjoyable and it's a lot more fun. Then the only other thing I had to figure it out is you go through and you have to hit these levers. You have to hit these skulls, and they're red so you can see them. And when I was going through and playing this and playing their games, I wasn't sure if when you hit the red, it goes away and they fade into the thing. They fade into the background. And so you would think that maybe you have to find them and hit them to make them red to be visible. And I wasn't sure which way you had to hit the levers. So once I figured out, yes, they are red, you have to activate and you're good. So if I do have a save state here, I want to show you something that's, I'll have to get a last save. Yes, okay, I did. I did have this here. So this is awesome. So you get to a point where you finally beat like the first level or so, and then you can go through and you can select all these levels. And this I just thought was, totally incredible. You can go anywhere. I think each of them there's like 3 or 4 levels, like the dungeons and the sewers, and I was blown away to find this. But it's just a really good first-person shooter. You can have it fill your screen. It's funny, you can even make it so like it gets rid of the background. I guess if you had like a computer or an Amiga or whatever that wasn't as powerful. But this game was a lot of fun. Once you turn on the difficulty and you just get sucked into it, it is an awesome first-person shooter. And this might be, so this one I would give it S tier. I do have to go back and play this. The nice thing is the game does have a built-in map. which is really good because you will use it and get lost. And I've had points where I've gotten frustrated, but I've enjoyed it just as much. And yeah, you can save in game. Again, the saving and loading is really slow just because that's the way the emulator is. But yeah, this is an S tier game. I think this just gets very overlooked. I can't wait to go back and play. And keep in mind, the only thing that was preventing me from stop playing this collection was getting the newer Evercade collections. So that says a lot. That says a lot about this. And I'll go into my final thoughts about comparing it to the other computer collections and do I think this is the best Computer Heroes. But yeah, unless you don't like first-person shoot, I love that they call it remastered instead of remastered. This was just a total hidden gem. I know that term gets used a lot, but this surprised me. I had no idea. I didn't think that this would practically end up being my favorite game. Here we will talk about sort of Iana, but yeah, I just wanted to mention this one. So let's talk about a farming simulator and the X2 planet. And again, this comes where my disclaimer comes in. So I never personally, I never liked the farming simulator game series just at all. I'm being perfectly honest. My wife owned a version of it on Steam, and she showed it to me. And like for farming, it's if you want something that's like super realistic, it's like, okay, control your character, have them load the seed into the thing. Now I get into the vehicle. Now I have to drive it. Like it really puts the simulator in simulator. And for me, that sucks all the joy and fun. Kind of the same reason I don't like realistic sports games. Like I want that arcadey type of feel. So for me, I tried playing it, but what's my play count? I think maybe just 1 minute. I tried going back and play this again, and I just could not get into it. This game is not for me. If you like this game, that's great. I think reading the booklet that this did come with one of the special editions of the game. But yeah, the controls and everything are awkward. The whole game is awkward. I just don't like it. But with kind of the same thing with Planet X2. This is a strategy game you have to really get into. I think I tried playing this again, and it's one of those things, if you have a lot of time on your hands and a love for these type of games, and you just want to dive into it and really read the manual and watch and study videos. But for me, when games feel like work, then it's just not for me. And again, by no means am these aren't bad games. I really dislike these type of games, and they're not for me. If I was going to go ahead and play a strategy game like this, I'll be honest, I would go back and play it on my PC where I can use a keyboard and mouse and all that type of stuff. So for some people these might be S or A tier. For me, these are more like C tier. If I have to go back and kind of give a rating. But that's just that's just for me. So let's go to Tanks of Fury. So this game was interesting. So this game isn't horrible, but it's not great. I think the big issue is this game really shines as a party game. Like if you had 4 players, for 4 players, this probably becomes an S tier. Otherwise, this becomes kind of for me, it's just a B-. It's not super great. It's not super bad. If anything, it was just kind of boring. One player just going through, shooting to their tanks. It's fun for a few levels, but then for me, I just got bored after a while. And you can see I've only played this a couple times, and it really didn't keep my interest, at all for that. This is definitely like a party game. So before we talk about Sword of Iana, Bridge Strike, and Citadel, these are the 3 games that are that are worth it for the collection. This is where I spent all my time. Now, what makes Sword of Iana neat is it's an MX2 game, and if you go to the developer's website, of course you can buy the actual cartridge. You can actually download and play this game for free if you don't have an Evercade. Want to check it out. But this game is great. You can see I'm at 3 hours 18 minutes. Look at this load count, right? 272 at the save count. Yes, you need to have a lot of save states in this game. So this was another game. Yeah, because I know some people out there say, "Hey, I don't give games enough of a chance." I do. I just know right off the bat of a certain type of game if it's worth my time, if it's going to hold my interest. And this was one of those games, much like Citadel. I mean, Katie even tells you that you really have to get used to the controls. And I mean, you really have to get used to the controls. Because if you don't, if you don't, you're really gonna be in a world of hurt. Once you get used to the controls, then the game is actually fun. And it is actually pretty neat. But it was just one of those games that was just really, really frustrating for me that I just had to get used to. Once I got used to it, then it wasn't bad. Like once you get used to combat, and the combat's kind of neat because you can block, and so you have to get used to when you strike, and you can do an overhead strike, or you can do a slash, and then it is a Metroidvania on where to go, and you do have save states. It's not a it's not a native game, so I don't have to worry about my files getting corrupted. Hard topic. Sorry, I always have to bring that up for those of you who've watched the channel. You guys know. But anyways, yeah. This game is a blast. I need to go back to it. It is just a lot of fun. It's not too frustrating. I had to get used to the jump mechanics. I don't want to spoil it, but there was one spot where I wasn't sure if I had to jump across this pit, and you actually had to like inch yourself to the edge and then jump over, and then you were good. And that's what the save states are in this game, is that I think before I would make any type of tricky jumps, I would save, because then you die and you have to go back. That is the one big thing. If you were playing this on original hardware, I couldn't imagine it, because it doesn't use a save feature for the real game. You get a passcode and it starts you off at the beginning of the level. That would be really frustrating. Like there's no checkpoints or anything else in this game. It would still be a great game, but man, that would just be frustrating. So if we go through again, I think, what did I say? This was a C minus. Or B, yeah, definitely A minus, S tier. For me, I don't know. Yeah, if I read this as C, for me these would be D's or F's. But again, that's just for me. I'm not saying generally. Like this takes a certain type of person that really likes this game. This was just average. Single player, this would be B minus. 4-player, S tier, and then definitely this is S tier. But yeah, these three games. And I'm being totally serious that, I don't know, Citadel and sort of, like, they're both, I don't know, equal. Sometimes I want to give Citadel the edge just because it really gave me the feeling of Doom, or those like really early FPSs. It was super nostalgic. And then this was just really nostalgic too, because this was just one of those like gems you would, maybe you would have found back in the day, one of those cool like computer games that were just like, you wouldn't see... you wouldn't see like on a Nintendo or anything yet, because it would be too large. It would be like too large of a game. So yeah, I wanted to do. I always keep doing that. So I wanted to do that follow up and give my thoughts and opinions on these games. It is a collection I'm going to go back to, sort of Iana and Citadel. I really do want to finish those, but I've got so much games and so many things to play. But let's talk about now the collection overall and what I think for the computer collection. So one thing I need to say, and I think I said this on Evercade, if I'm being honest, that for me, these type of computer games, I don't have any nostalgia for. I didn't grow up with an Amiga or C64. I did grow up, like I had DOS. I had friends that had DOS. I had a cousin who always had like the latest games. But these were different type of games, meaning the games that I played, you would use a keyboard and mouse, something like Doom, or they were point and click, or it was like King's Quest. There were games that, how do I say, really felt like they were designed to be on PC. They weren't games that... Some PC games are going to feel like the stiffness to them, where they feel like they should have been on console, if that makes sense, or that require a controller. So for me, those kind of fall in a weird category where they don't feel like PC games, but they don't feel like console games. If that makes sense, I don't know. Let me know in the thoughts below. So this is why I'm pretty particular for this. Kind of the same way why some of you maybe didn't grow up playing Atari, so maybe you don't have any nostalgia, and maybe you kind of feel, these are weird games with one button. And I totally I totally get that. So for me, for the first time, this actually I feel like is a really, really good computer collection. Meaning we've got some bangers on here. We've got some games that I don't that I don't like as much. But this was a total joy discovery for me, more than usual for the computer collections. Now, if I'm being perfectly honest, if I wasn't trying to go for a full collection of anything, if I was just somebody out there getting into Evercade and want to get, unless you have a lot of love for these computer collections, this probably would have been like the only one that I would have gotten. Not just because if I really wanted to get into C64, there are other ways you can go ahead and play that. It is cool that we have it in Evercade, but I'm always torn about these type of things. I understand it's an easy license for Blaze to go ahead and go after, but I am more excited on the Amiga games, because those just those feel more like a true 16-bit, have a little bit better of those graphics. Same with MX2, they have a better feel to the C64. Again, that's my opinion. If you grew up playing C64 and you love it, I'm not trying to take away from that. I'm just saying that as far as what I can relate to. But yeah, definitely the bangers on this are totally worth it just for it alone. Again, it's cool to have a physical cart and a booklet. And then the other ones, they still do sit on my shelf here behind me. If I can point, there we go. I did have to move everything over because having the double tier stack of games was just completely getting ridiculous. Now I can actually get to my games and play them a lot more. So yeah, what I want to know in the comments below, what do you think of this computer collection? How does it stack up to the other computer collections? If you're going to get one, this is a recommended buy for those type of games. Now that we have the Duke Nukem 1 or 2, the Aston Bros collections, we have the Good Boy Galaxy. There's a lot to play out there, so I would get those collections before this one. But if you're looking for something different, it is a really good collection. And if you happen to find me through the YouTubeverse, please like and subscribe, do all those cool things. And one thing I like to do for those of you who watch, sorry about the glare there, do watch my videos all the way to the end. If you want to show your love and appreciation, go ahead and put in the comments dumb tractor. Yes, put dumb tractor in the comments if you want to show that you watched the whole video and all that. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.